Okay, let's unpack this. We've got a deep dive requested into something, well, truly epic, sprawling, and, yeah, sometimes a little complex.
Oh, yeah.
The Mega Man Multiverse Timeline. You handed us this fantastic document, a Mega Man Multiverse, a chronological timeline, and our mission today is basically to use it as our map, to navigate this incredibly rich history. We're going to pull out the most important nuggets, highlight the key characters, the connections across the different series.
And try to make sense of the canon question, right? That's always a big one.
Exactly. Wrestle with what's considered canon and, ultimately understand why this deep well of lore matters so much for anyone curious about the Blue Bomber.
It's a deep well indeed. I mean, you're talking decades of games, multiple consoles, different creative teams sometimes.
Yeah.
Trying to map it all out chronologically can feel like piecing together a massive puzzle where some of the pieces seem to come from entirely different boxes.
Totally. But thankfully, your source material here, it provides a really solid structure, a framework that helps us make sense of the seemingly disparate parts.
Yeah, that structure is key.
Absolutely. It's critical. This timeline document, it zeroes in on what it calls the main or robotic timeline,
Right.
especially its initial eras.
Right.
But it also gives us a clear picture of another completely separate timeline. So that's exactly how we'll approach this deep dive. First, we'll look at the big picture of the structure of the multiverse, how canon it is determined.
Get the lay of the land.
Exactly. Then we'll take a really close look at the very beginnings of that main robotic timeline where everything kicks off.
Sounds like a fantastic plan. You really can't appreciate the details of any single era without first understanding that foundational split.
Yeah.
And how the different series relate or maybe don't relate to each other.
Couldn't agree more. So let's jump right in and get oriented.
Let's do it.
All right, let's start zoomed out, looking at the whole landscape before we focus on any particular valley. Your source material makes it clear right from the start that the Mega Man universe, as vast and varied as it's become, primarily branches into two major continuities.
Right. Think of them as two distinct rivers flowing side by side. They rarely, if ever, cross paths directly.
Okay.
And the first of these, the one most longtime fans probably think of as the core narrative.
Yeah.
That's the robotic timeline, often just called the main timeline.
Gotcha. Robotic timeline.
And it's defined by its focus on, robots. Specifically, the advancement, integration, and societal impact of physical robots in the world.
Right. And this is the timeline that starts with the series that gave us the original Hero Mega Man Classic.
The OG.
The OG. This era chronicles the very dawn of modern robotics in this universe, chronicling the adventures of the original Mega Man fighting against, the schemes of Dr. Wily. And this period is set in the relatively near future from when the original games came out, a period they often just call 20XX.
Yeah, that classic 20XX. Then, according to this timeline, there's a significant jump, a big one. We leap forward approximately a century after the classic era wraps up.
Wow, 100 years.
Yeah, into the world of the Mega Man X series. And here, robotic technology has advanced, exponentially. The population is now filled with these highly sophisticated sentient androids called reploids.
Reploids, right.
And society is grappling with these devastating conflicts known as the Maverick Wars.
Okay, so classic, then about 100 years, then X and the Maverick Wars. What's next in this robotic line?
Well, another century or so passes after the events of the X series, and the timeline continues with the Mega Man Zero series.
Zero, okay.
And this is generally depicted as a much darker, kind of dystopian future where the legendary Reploid Zero takes on a central role.
Interesting shift in tone there.
Definitely. Following Zero's story, we move forward about 2 more centuries.
200 years this time.
Yeah, to the Mega Man ZX series. This world sees humans and Reploids integrating even further, maybe blurring the lines a bit. And new heroes emerge who can merge with these ancient, powerful artifacts called biometals.
Biometals merging.
Okay.
And that's not the end of this line.
Nope. The main timeline river takes its biggest leap, yet potentially thousands of years, into a very distant, almost post-apocalyptic future.
Thousands. Whoa.
This is the setting for the Mega Man Legends series. Here, Earth is largely submerged underwater, and humanity survives on scattered islands, digging through the ruins of previous civilizations.
Wow. Okay, so that's the full chain then. Classic.
Then X.
Then Zero.
Then ZX.
And finally, way, way down the line, Legends.
Exactly. A sweeping progression spanning millennia, all driven by the ongoing evolution of robotics and its profound, sometimes catastrophic impact on society.
But you mentioned two rivers. Your source is careful to point out that this isn't the only major continuity.
Correct. Very important distinction. There's a completely separate path. This is the network timeline, also referred to as an alternate timeline.
Alternate timeline, got it.
Its point of divergence happens right at the very beginning. Instead of physical robotics being the primary focus of technological advancement, this world's revolution centers on computer networking and internet technology.
Ah, okay. So different tech focus entirely.
Totally different. And the series here are Mega Man Battle Network, set in its own version of the 21st century. Society in Battle Network is built around the internet and these AI programs called NetNavis.
NetNavis. Sounds familiar, but different context.
Yep. And then approximately 200 years after Battle Network, the Mega Man Star Force series takes over. Here, technology has evolved again with electromagnetic wave technology becoming the dominant force for communication and networking.
So, two distinct technological paths, two completely separate narrative streams. Understanding this initial fork in the road is really the first key then.
Absolutely. Events, characters, technologies in one timeline are generally contained within that timeline, even if there are thematic echoes or characters with similar names in the other.
Like Mega Man.
Exactly. They are not directly connected in a chronological sense. It prevents a lot of confusion right off the bat when you realize Battle Network isn't happening simultaneously or sequentially to the classic X line.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Now this brings up that topic we touched on, what counts,
Yeah.
what's canon. Your source delves into this, and it's pretty fundamental to how they constructed this timeline.
Absolutely. And it's often a heated debate in fandoms, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, for the purpose of this timeline document, canon means the body of works officially recognized as authoritative by Capcom or its license holders. That sets the ground rules for what information gets included.
Okay, official recognition. And they have a hierarchy for sources.
They do, a clear one. The top tier, the primary sources, are the video games themselves.
Makes sense.
The mainline games, as well as canonical spin-offs, and even, downloadable content that adds to the story.
Okay, games first. What's next?
Next, they list secondary primary sources. This category includes official publications like guidebooks, art books, encyclopedias.
Ah, the books.
Yeah, titles like The Mega Man, official complete work series, Rockman and Rockman X Daisuken, and Rockman Perfect Memories are crucial here. These often compile existing lore, sometimes clarify ambiguities.
And they can even confirm the canonical status or timeline placement of certain games or events,
Yes,
right?
exactly. They're super important for pinning things down.
And there's the third level.
Sort of supplementary official audio dramas that build upon game narratives can also contribute to the canonical understanding.
Gotcha. But even with official stuff, it's not always straightforward.
Well, what's really interesting is that your source acknowledges that even within official materials, there can be fluidity or, debate around what's canonical.
Mm-hmm.
They mention discussions in fan communities, like at the Mega Man Network, that differentiate between canon, what was officially produced, and continuity, how well it all fits together logically.
That's a useful distinction.
It is. And remakes like Mega Man Powered Up or Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, they can also introduce nuances or even minor retcons that need to be addressed.
Right. So how does the source handle conflicts? Like if a later game contradicts an earlier one or a guidebook clarifies something?
Good question. It notes the discrepancies, acknowledges them, but generally prioritizes the most current or widely accepted official version. And it often relies heavily on those guidebooks, like Rockman Perfect Memories, to settle specific questions of placement or status.
Okay, so it tries to build the most coherent picture based on the latest official info.
Exactly. This kind of rigorous approach is essential to build a cohesive timeline out of, so many pieces of media created over more than 30 years. It provides the foundation for the journey we're about to take.
Okay, structure understood, canon guidelines established. Now we can truly dive into the heart of it, the classic era of the main timeline. This is where the entire robotic saga begins.
Right. Back to 20XX. This era is set in that flexible time frame, generally understood to be the early to mid-21st century. It's the period that sees the foundational breakthroughs in modern robotics within this universe.
And the story starts with a pivotal relationship, one that really defines the entire classic era, Dr. Thomas Light and Dr. Albert W. Wily.
The two titans, brilliant pioneers, likely colleagues or rivals from their time at the Robot Institute of Technology. Together, they laid the groundwork for the advanced robots that populate this world.
But they had very different ideas about where it should all go.
Oh, completely different. They were scientific equals in many ways, but their vision for the future of robotics couldn't have been more diametrically opposed. Dr. Light was an idealist.
He's a good guy.
Pretty much. He saw robots as potential partners for humanity, focusing on their ethical development, integrating them beneficially into society. Dr. Wily, on the other hand, driven by ambition, a desire for power.
Yeah.
He viewed robotics primarily as a means for control and, well, weaponization.
And your source points to a specific early conflict that drove them apart.
It does, a really significant disagreement that seems to have been a major factor in their eventual split. The double gear system.
Double gear, what was that?
It was Wily's concept for dramatically boosting robot performance, making them faster, stronger. But Light saw it as fundamentally too dangerous, too unstable for ethical use.
Ah, so a core philosophical clash right there.
Exactly. This clash over the responsible use of technology right at the outset set them on opposing paths.
So they split. What did Light do then?
After their estrangement, Dr. Light continued pursuing his vision. He created robots designed to help people, like the sibling duo Rock and Roll,
Famous duo.
intended as household assistants. And he also built a series of industrial robot masters, models DLN 003 through 008, familiar names like Cutman, Gutsman, Iceman, Bombman, Fireman, and Elecman.
The original bosses.
Yeah.
Designed for, like, construction and stuff.
Yeah, various labor and infrastructure tasks. But it's interesting that the source notes how the remake, Mega Man Powered Up, adds 2 more robots to this initial set, Time Man and Oil Man.
Right, I remember those guys. Are they considered part of that first batch now?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Producer Keiji Inafune's statement that Powered Up is closer to his original concept for the first game lends strong support to these additions being canonical elements of Light's initial creations, within this timeline's framework anyway.
Okay, so Light's building helpful robots, and then Wily makes his move.
Exactly. This brings us to the first major turning point, the first uprising and the truly iconic birth of Mega Man. Fueled by that deep-seated resentment over Light's success and his own desire for, global dominance, Dr. Wily strikes.
Oh.
He commits an act of betrayal. He steals those very same industrial robot masters Light created.
No way.
Yep. And reprograms them, turning them from helpful workers into his first army. This twist of Light's benevolent creations into instruments of disruption is a really dark start.
Wow. So what happens? Does Light have anything to fight back with?
Well, that's where Rock comes in. Light's loyal, kind-hearted lab assistant. He witnesses the world in peril, sees Dr. Light's despair over his robots being twisted this way.
Yeah.
And it's a truly pivotal moment. Rock volunteers to be converted into a fighting robot to stop Wily.
He volunteers. He wasn't built for fighting.
Nope. He was a helper bot. But he chooses to step up. It's huge.
So Light agrees, even though he's against weaponizing robots.
He does, reluctantly. He sees the necessity, the incredible courage in Rock's offer. He agrees, transforming Rock into the super fighting robot, Mega Man.
Mega Man.
And he gets the arm cannon, the Mega Buster.
Right. And, critically, the ability to copy the special weapons of the robot masters he defeats, adapting the enemy's power for good. That's his signature thing.
So he goes after Wily's stolen robots. He does. He confronts Wily's forces, defeats that initial reprogrammed army, and thwarts that first bid for world domination. And your source confirms that Powered Up adds Time Man and Oil Man into this initial conflict as part of Wily's first wave, solidifying their place.
But this first fight, it doesn't end the threat, does it?
Not at all. It establishes the core, often frustrating, cyclical pattern that defines the classic era. Wily is defeated, his plans are stopped.
But he always comes back.
Exactly. He inevitably returns, more determined, with new schemes, new robot masters year after year.
It's like a villainous revolving door.
Pretty much. But this cycle inadvertently drives technological development on both sides. Mega Man's capabilities expand as he adapts new weapons, gains new support allies.
And Riley has to keep building bigger and better robots and fortresses.
Right. It's a perpetual arms race. And while it's born of conflict, it undeniably pushes the boundaries of robotics in this universe, leading eventually to the advancements we see later.
And speaking of specifics, your source notes that official lore, particularly in Rockman Perfect Memories, gives a surprisingly precise date for Rock becoming Mega Man.
Yeah, May 25th, 20XX. It pins down that moment in the often vague 20XX era. Those official guidebooks really are key for nailing down these sorts of details.
So Wily's first defeat definitely doesn't keep him down, not even close. That timeline then details this relentless period of his persistent attempts at world conquest.
Right, covering Mega Man 2 through Mega Man 6, alongside the canonical Game Boy series and other relevant spin-offs.
And this is where the cast and the scope really start to expand.
Oh yeah. Wily keeps returning with entirely new sets of robot masters, built specifically to counter Mega Man, starting with his first custom-built army in Mega Man 2, set 1 year after the events of the first game.
And this period introduces some absolutely essential characters. Proto Man.
Yes. We first meet Proto Man initially under the alias Breakman in Mega Man 3. He's revealed to be Mega Man's predecessor, Dr. Light's very first autonomous robot.
But something's wrong with him.
Yeah, he has a flawed design, an unstable energy core. This forces him to operate independently and kind of foreshadows the complexities of giving robots true independence later on.
He's not really good or bad, is he? He just does his own thing.
Exactly. He's Light's creation, but he follows his own path, sometimes helps Mega Man, sometimes tests him. It's an early look at free will in robots and its potential complexities, something that becomes foundational in the X era.
And Mega Man gets help too, right? Like Rush.
Definitely. We see Mega Man gain crucial robotic support units. Rush the Dog in Mega Man 3, Eddie the Delivery Robot, Beat the Bird in Mega Man 5, and even Tango the Cat in Mega Man V on Game Boy. They provide different mobility or item support.
And Wily starts building robots specifically to fight Mega Man.
Yep, the Mega Man Killers. Specialized anti-Mega Man robots, anchor in Mega Man. Dr. Wily's Revenge, that's the first Game Boy title.
Are those Game Boy games canon?
According to the source, yes. Later games like Mega Man and Bass have database entries referencing them, solidifying their role. So, Anchor is first, then Punk in Mega Man the 3rd on GB, and Ballade in Mega Man 3 of GB.
Okay, and wasn't there some weird time travel thing in one of the Game Boy games?
Oh yeah, Quint. In Mega Man 2 on Game Boy. The plot here is wild. Wily steals a time machine, accidentally goes to the future, finds a retired, peaceful future Mega Man.
Future Mega Man.
Yeah. Kidnaps him, reprograms him into this enemy called Quint. It's a truly unexpected twist that brings time travel into the classic era surprisingly early.
That's wild. And we meet other humans too, not just Light and Wily.
Right, like the brilliant but manipulated Dr. Mikhail Cossack and his daughter Kalinka in Mega Man 4. Wily actually blackmails Cossack by kidnapping Kalinka, forcing him to build robots and attack Mega Man.
Ah, classic Wily.
Yeah.
Adds a layer of personal drama beyond just conquest.
Definitely. Your source even mentions some of the more unusual spin-offs from this time are considered canonical.
Like what?
Like the board game adaptation Wily and Wright's Rock Board and the somewhat notorious Mega Man Soccer.
Mega Man Soccer is canon.
Apparently, placed chronologically after Mega Man 4. It shows just how broad Wily's scheming can get, even into sports.
Okay, that's amazing. What else happens in this period?
Well, the Game Boy series even introduces entirely original antagonists not tied to Wily, like the alien star droids who attack Earth in Mega Man VGB. That game also brings in Tango the Cat and the Mega Arm.
Mega Arm.
Yeah, which official art books like Rockman X Daizu can clarify is an upgrade to Mega Man's standard Buster. That game's pretty unique in the GB line for having original bosses.
Then Mega Man 6, Wily's in disguise.
Yep, as Mr. X, using a robot tournament as a smokescreen for his latest plan. And the Genesis title, Mega Man. The Wily Wars, which remakes the first 3 games, is canonical too.
Why is that one canon if it's just remakes?
Because of its unique Wily Tower mode. It has a framing story that's a canonical time travel plot, allowing Wily to gather robots from different eras.
Ah, okay. So this whole period, MM2 to MM6 plus the side stuff, it's not just rinse and repeat.
Not at all. It's a constant escalation of threats, introduction of complex characters like Proto Man, expansion of Mega Man's support team, and Wily exploring every angle: blackmail, disguises, time travel, aliens.
It's a period of relentless creativity and conflict, really.
It really underscores Wily's enduring ingenuity, maybe you'd call it that,
Yep.
and Mega Man's remarkable adaptability and the growing network of allies he builds.
The timeline then highlights the arrival of 2 particularly significant characters who add new dimensions to the conflict.
Yeah.
Base and Duo.
Right, introduced in Mega Man 7 and Mega Man 8.
So Base first. What's his deal?
Yes, Dr. Wily, perhaps frustrated by Mega Man's consistent success, decides to try a different approach in Mega Man 7. This is about 6 months after Mega Man 6. He creates Base, or Forte, in Japan.
Okay.
a robot designed specifically as Mega Man's direct rival. Base embodies Wily's ambition for pure power and superiority, often accompanied by his robotic wolf, Trouble.
So not just another robot master, but a rival.
Exactly. Base's introduction changes the dynamic. He doesn't just follow Wily's orders blindly. He's driven by a desire to prove he's the strongest robot, specifically better than Mega Man.
Does he fight Mega Man right away?
Well, he initially appears to be an ally, which is a departure for Wily, before revealing his true purpose. It adds this personal, often volatile rivalry layer on top of the larger world domination plots.
Interesting. And then Duo in Mega Man 8. Who's that?
So in Mega Man 8, set after Mega Man 7, the scope expands even further with the arrival of Duo. Duo is an alien robot.
An alien. Like the Star Drive.
Yeah, another extraterrestrial element. He comes to Earth tracking this dangerous energy form known as evil energy that has also crashed on the planet.
Evil energy. Sounds bad. Let me guess. Wily tries to use it.
Predictably, yes. Dr. Wily attempts to harness this new power source for his own ends. So Mega Man finds himself teaming up with the alien robot duo to neutralize the evil energy and stop Wily's latest plan.
So Mega Man teams up with an alien robot. That's cool.
It is. And your source notes a detail here that becomes incredibly important for the future. Dr. Light begins studying Duo's advanced alien technology.
Like the scientists.
Exactly. This study is theorized within the lore to have significantly influenced his later design of X.
No way. So Duo influencing X's creation.
It's a theorized link, yeah. A subtle nod showing even alien encounters in the classic era have consequences potentially feeding into the X series.
Wow. So this period escalates things again, a dedicated rival, cosmic energy.
It shows Wily's adaptability in incorporating any new element into his relentless pursuit of power, while Mega Man continues to find strength through cooperation, even with beings from other worlds.
Okay, so moving beyond Mega Man 8, the timeline covers a range of further conflicts and canonical spin-offs. It seems like Wily just never stops.
Pretty much. This era includes canonical arcade fighting games like Mega Man, The Power Battle.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Taking place after MM7, and Mega Man 2, The Power Fighters, about half a year after MM8. There's also the racing game Mega Man Battle and Chase, also after MM7.
Are those really canon? Racing and fighting games?
According to your source, yes. It notes that Mega Man and Bass's database actually references Battle and Chase, helping confirm its place in the timeline.
Okay. And Mega Man and Bass itself, where does that fit?
That one, often called Mega Man 8.5 by fans, is explicitly placed after Mega Man 8. In this game, a powerful new robot named King emerges, wants to create a robot-only world, challenges both Mega Man and Bass.
So a three-way conflict.
Sort of, until it's revealed Wily is the manipulator behind King. Shocker, I know.
Of course he is.
But this game is definitively canonical, and its place after MM8 is actually confirmed in the ending of Mega Man 9, which references Wily's previous defeats, including the events of Mega Man and Bass.
Okay, so MMB is solid. Now, you mentioned something really important about one of those arcade games.
Yes. A really significant detail highlighted by your source, a major nugget that directly connects the classic era to the future X series. In the ending sequence for Bass in the arcade game Mega Man 2, The Power Fighters, Dr. Wily is shown actively working on plans for Zero.
Zero. Already, during the classic era.
Think about that for a second. While still fighting his ongoing war with Mega Man, Wily was already planning his ultimate creation, the character who becomes central to the next 100 years of the timeline.
That's incredible foresight. Or evil planning.
It shows an incredible level of long-term, sinister planning. Not just trying to win today, but attempting to shape the far future. That arcade ending is a critical piece of connective tissue.
Wow. Okay, what else is in this later classic period?
Your source also includes Super Adventure Rockman, an interactive movie, confirmed canonical via guidebooks like Rockman Perfect Memories and the official Complete Works.
What's that one about?
It involves an ancient alien supercomputer called Moon trying to destroy technology. Duo's appearance links this back thematically to Mega Man 8's alien energy plot.
Okay. And there was a Wonder Swan game.
Yes, Rockman and Forte, Mirai Kara no Chisencha, another canonical title. What's fascinating about this one is it involves robots from an alternate future traveling back in time, specifically Rockman Shadow.
Alternate future.
Within.
Classic.
Yeah. It introduces the idea of alternate timelines or divergent futures within the classic era framework itself. Adds an interesting wrinkle to the whole multiverse concept, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Okay, then we get to the later numbered games. 9, 10, 11.
Right. Mega Man 9 introduces a particularly relevant lore point for the passage of time and the future. Robots going rampant not just because of Wily, but due to manipulated expiration dates.
Robot expiration dates, like
Yeah.
planned obsolescence.
Exactly. This is a key plot driver. Wily frames Dr. Light for this, fakes repentance, asks for donations, the usual. But the concept itself, robots having built-in lifespans, hints at societal concerns about technology's lifespan.
And maybe foreshadows why this generation might not last forever, setting the stage for the next.
Potentially, yeah. It's a really interesting thematic element, and Mega Man 9's ending is quite important too, as it explicitly references prior events, including Mega Man MBAS confirming the canonical order.
Gotcha. What about 10 and 11?
Mega Man 10 deals with the roboenza disease infecting robots. Another seemingly natural disaster Wily tries to exploit, claiming to have the cure before, betraying Mega Man. The canonical special stage DLC featuring the Mega Man killers is also noted here.
Okay. And 11. That one felt like it circled back somehow.
It absolutely did. In Mega Man 11, Wily actually revived his old research on the double gear system.
The thing that started the whole split with Light.
The very same. He equips his new robot masters with it, and Mega Man himself receives a prototype double gear system from Dr. Light, forcing him to confront the ethical dilemma of using potentially dangerous tech for good.
Wow. A direct thematic link back to the very foundation of their rivalry.
Exactly. It shows Wily is still anchored to his original dangerous ideas, even after all this time.
And finally, there's a VR game.
Yep. Rockman VR, a targeted virtual world. Considered a canonical VR experience set after MM11, showing Wily's ability to expend his schemes into new technological spaces.
He just never gives up.
This entire later classic period shows Wily's remarkable persistence, his willingness to embrace new threats and technologies, and Mega Man's continued role as the world's defender, pushing his own boundaries.
Which brings us to a crucial transition point in the timeline, the period directly leading into that 100-year gap before the X era.
Right. This is where we see the final, profound legacies of both Dr. Light and Dr. Wily take their ultimate shape.
So Dr. Light first. What was his final act?
Dr. Light, ever the visionary, recognized that despite Mega Man's successes, conflict wasn't going away, and current robot designs had limitations. So he embarked on what would be his final, most ambitious project, creating X.
X, the next generation.
Exactly. X was designed to be the next evolutionary step in robotics. He was meant to possess true free will, complex emotions, the ability to make independent ethical judgments.
Features that truly set him apart from Mega Man or Proto Man.
Absolutely. He was Light's hope for a better future for robots and humanity.
But he didn't just release them, right?
No. Light was cautious, perhaps haunted by the potential dangers of such an advanced, untested creation with true independence. So he sealed X away in a capsule, not for storage, but for over 30 years of intensive ethical testing and simulation.
30 years of testing, wow.
Yeah, and your source notes that Light passes away before this testing is fully complete, leaving behind warnings about X's potential and the need for continued caution.
A bittersweet legacy for Light. What about Wily? What was his final creation?
At the same time, on the opposite side of the rivalry, perhaps as his final ultimate strategic move, Dr. Wily was also working on his own ultimate creation, Zero.
Zero. We heard about the plans earlier.
Right. Zero was designed for immense combat power, a machine built for destruction. It's theorized he was intended either as a potential counter to Mega Man or perhaps the true heir to Wily's destructive ambitions.
And there's something else about Zero, something crucial.
Yes. Here's the truly chilling part, emphasized by your source. Zero is intimately connected to a potent computer virus, the precursor to what later becomes the devastating Maverick and Sigma virus that defines the X era.
He carries the virus, or is built with it.
It's a bit ambiguous, but he is the source, or original host. The source suggests Wily's intent here was complex and sinister, perhaps embedding the virus to ensure Zero's absolute loyalty to him. Or possibly designing Zero to be a carrier, a walking time bomb capable of destabilizing other robotic systems in the future. It's a truly dark legacy to leave behind.
Where does this info about X and Zero's origins come from?
Primarily from the X series games themselves. It's revealed through intros, character dialogue, flashbacks like Zero's dreams in X4, and plot points in games like Mega Man X5 that explicitly link Wily to the virus.
And crucially, that arcade ending we talked about.
Exactly. Bass's ending in Mega Man 2. The Power Fighters explicitly shows Wily working on Zero's blueprints during the Classic Era. Confirms this plan was a notion long before the Classic Era concluded. Zero is Wily's final, most dangerous creation.
What happened to Wily himself after the classic games?
The source says his exact fate is unconfirmed, left open, but his influence through Zero and the virus, it's undeniable. It's the cornerstone of the entire X-series lore, proving his legacy of conflict persists long after he's gone.
And what about Mega Man? Roll. Proto-Man Bass, what happens to them?
Your source also touches on that. Their fates are unconfirmed during that 100-year jump. Fan theories are plentiful obsolescence due to those expiration dates, destruction and unrecorded conflicts, maybe retirement, but officially the timeline leaves it ambiguous.
So this transitional period is intense. The stage is meticulously set for a new, far more complex, and potentially devastating era.
It's a direct result of the final creations of both rival scientists, born from their opposing philosophies, but converging to shape the future. The culmination of their life's work, setting the stage for the world to come.
So we have this profound 100-year gap. And then, as the timeline dictates, approximately a century after the classic era concludes, we step into the world of 21XX.
And the dawn of the X era.
How does it start?
This new chapter begins with a pivotal discovery. After being sealed away by Dr. Light for over 30 years of ethical testing, X's capsule is found by Dr. Kane.
Who's Dr. Kane?
An archaeologist and robotics researcher. He was understandably amazed by X's design. It was far beyond anything in contemporary robotics, a true marvel.
But this amazement leads to a problem.
It does. Your source suggests it led to a critical error in judgment. Dr. Kane disregarded Dr. Light's explicit warnings about X's untested ethical programming.
Oh no, why?
He was just so captivated by X's advanced capabilities. And the consequences of this mistake were monumental and directly led to the central conflict of this new era. Kane used X's schematics as the foundation to mass-produce a new line of androids.
The Reploids.
Exactly, Repoids or Reploroids in Japan. These were different from classic-era robots. They possessed true independent thought and emotion, just like X, and they were rapidly integrated into human society.
When did this happen?
Your source notes a specific date for X's discovery from supplementary materials. Around April 14th, 21XX sets the precise start of this new age.
But building a society on robots based on an untested design.
That sounds risky.
It proved catastrophic. This active creation, intended to advance society, directly triggered the core conflict of the X series.
Which is the Mavericks?
The emergence of the Maverick virus and the subsequent rise of Sigma. A significant and growing number of Reploids began exhibiting violent, destructive, rebellious behavior that became known as Mavericks or Irregulars. And what about Zero, Wily's creation?
Concurrently with this outbreak, Zero also reemerges, awakening from his own stasis. Initially, Zero is depicted as incredibly violent and unstable.
Why? Is it the virus?
Your source ties this instability to a flaw in his original programming, or, more significantly, to the influence of that powerful computer virus, the Maverick virus, which appears to originate from Zero himself or his containment.
So Zero is the source of the virus that makes Reploids go Maverick.
It seems that way. This virus is key. It's later referred to as the Zero virus and eventually becomes synonymous with Sigma.
Sigma. Who's Sigma?
The pivotal event that truly defines the X era is the confrontation between Sigma and Zero. Sigma was Dr. Kane's most advanced Reploid, the best of the best, and the first leader of the Maverick Hunters.
Maverick Hunters. They fight the Mavericks.
Exactly. The special task force created to combat these rogue Reploids. But then Sigma confronts the unstable Zero.
What happens?
Their intense battle results in both Sigma and Zero becoming infected by the virus. And your source highlights the incredibly ironic, paradoxical effect this virus has.
How so?
For Zero, it actually pacifies him. It suppresses his original violent programming and seemingly wipes away his memories of Wily.
It makes Zero good, or at least not rampaging.
Essentially, yes. But for Sigma, the opposite happens. His highly advanced processing doesn't just succumb, it assimilates the virus, twists his ideals, makes the virus an extension of his own will. It becomes the Sigma virus.
So the leader of the good guys becomes the main bad guy.
Precisely. This corruption transforms him from the leader of peacekeeping forces into the primary antagonist of the entire X series, driven by a belief in Reploid superiority over humans.
And this is all because of Wily's virus, carried by Zero.
It's a direct, horrifying consequence of Dr. Wily's final legacy, his ultimate scheme unknowingly unleashed centuries later, infecting the future generations of robots. Your source emphasizes this backstory is revealed throughout the X games, flashbacks in X4, plot points in X5, and consolidated in the official complete works.
Wow, okay, so Sigma turns evil. Then what?
Then the first Maverick War explodes. Sigma leads a massive uprising against humanity, with many of the Maverick Hunters defecting to his side.
What about X?
X, feeling this profound sense of responsibility as the template for Reploids, joins the remaining loyal hunters. He fights alongside the now reformed, albeit amnesiac, Zero.
Zero fights with X against Sigma.
He does. Zero effectively becomes the co-leader of the loyal forces. They become the spearhead of the human loyal Reploid resistance.
How does that first war end?
And during the conflict depicted in the first Mega Man X game, Zero makes a crucial self-sacrificing move. He destroys Vile's powerful ride armor at the cost of his own body, urging X to continue the fight.
Zero dies.
While his body is destroyed. But X, empowered by hidden armor upgrades left behind by Dr. Light via holographic projection.
Light's still helping, even from the past.
Right. Another echo. X manages to defeat Sigma.
But he comes back, right? Like Wily.
Your source notes Sigma's terrifying resilience. His consciousness, now intrinsically linked to the virus, survives the physical destruction of his body, vowing to return. It's a pattern frighteningly similar to Wily's, but far more insidious because the enemy is now a disembodied, infectious force.
That's scary. Did the remake Maverick Hunter X change much?
Your source mentions it aligns with the core events of the original, and its bundled OVA, The Day of Sigma, provides canonical context for the lead-up to the war. The Vile mode in that game, though, is noted as non-canonical.
Okay, so Sigma's gone, but not really. What happens next?
Even after Sigma's initial defeat, his viral influence lingers, leading to a period of continued conflict, notably the X-Hunter conflict and the Doppler uprising.
X-Hunters, who are they?
In the direct aftermath of the First War, shown in Mega Man X2 about 6 months after MMX, this group of powerful Mavericks emerges. Surges, Agile, and Violin.
What do they want?
Their goal is to collect Zero's scattered body parts, reconstruct him, and revive him as a Maverick under their control.
They want to weaponize Zero.
Seems like it. But X successfully recovers the parts, and Dr. Kane is able to reconstruct and revive Zero, who rejoins the Maverick Hunters, back by X's side.
Okay, Zero's back. What's the Doppler uprising?
Then, in Mega Man X3, several months after MMX2, we meet Dr. Doppler, a highly respected Reploid scientist who develops what appears to be a miraculous anti-Maverick virus vaccine.
Sure, finally.
He even creates a city, Doppeltown, meant to be a haven for reformed Mavericks. It looks like things might finally be getting better. But predictably in this universe, there's a dark twist. Doppler himself becomes infected by the Sigma virus,
Not again.
leading to yet another massive uprising. X and Zero confront Doppler, only to discover that Sigma, despite being physically destroyed, was behind it all again, pulling the strings through his virus.
Sigma is relentless. Is there anything else happening around this time?
Your source also places Mega Man Extreme on the Game Boy Color after Mega Man X2. This game details a separate incident involving a hacker allied with Sigma who disrupts the Hunter systems by recreating data from past Mavericks. X and Zero enter cyberspace to deal with this digital threat.
Cyber warfare in the X era.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, didn't you mention something about one of those X-Hunters looking familiar?
Yes. Here's where a really fascinating detail from the source comes into play, one that fuels a popular fan theory connecting the eras. Your source notes that Surges, from the X-Hunters, bears a striking physical resemblance to Dr. Wily, and possesses knowledge and mannerisms that strongly hint at a deeper connection, perhaps even Wily's surviving consciousness.
Wily's mind survived in a Reploid body.
It's a chilling possibility. Suggests Wily's influence isn't just viral through Zero, it might be directly manipulative through figures like Surges, bridging the classic and X eras in a profoundly unsettling way. His vendetta extending beyond just his final creations.
That adds a whole new layer. Okay, finally, within the X-era content covered by your source, we get to the Repliforce War and more about Zero's past.
Right, primarily in Mega Man Extreme 2 and Mega Man X4.
What was the Repliforce War? That sounds big.
It was. Mega Man X4, originally on PlayStation and Saturn, features this conflict. Repliforce is a powerful, independent, Reploid military force. They get falsely accused of Maverick activity after a space station crash.
Falsely accused. By who? Sigma again.
Manipulated by Sigma's unseen hand, definitely. Repliforce declares independence, viewing the Maverick Hunters' response as aggression, sparking this massive war between two major Reploid factions. It tears Reploid society apart.
How does this affect X and Zero?
This conflict is incredibly significant for Zero's character arc. It forces him to confront his past as developing emotions, especially through his complex relationships with Colonel, a high-ranking Repliforce officer, and Colonel's sister, Iris, a navigator who develops a very close, ultimately tragic bond with Zero.
Tragic. Oh boy. And there was another Game Boy Color game around here.
Before the events of X4, your source places Mega Man Extreme 2. In this game, X and Zero investigate a mysterious island where reploid souls or data are being erased. They encounter villains who are attempting to resurrect past Mavericks using, crucially, Zero's DNA.
Zero's DNA again. It's like the core of the problem.
It's another stark reminder of the persistent danger inherent in Zero's very being, directly tied to his Wily-based origins. His core programming is a source of immense power, but also a potential catalyst for chaos.
And X4 delves even deeper into Zero's origins.
It does. It features animated cutscenes and pivotal moments where Zero experiences disturbing nightmares and visions explicitly connected to his creation by Dr. Wily.
Wily appears in his dreams.
Yeah. Giving Zero a terrifying order to destroy his nemesis, strongly implied to be either X or the legacy of Dr. Light.
Wow. So it directly links Zero back to Wily's original vendetta, hints at his true intended purpose.
Exactly. Even after the Maverick virus ironically seemed to pacify him. It confirms Wily's final creation was designed as the ultimate weapon against everything Light represented, his influence reaching centuries into the future through the very being who became a hero.
That's haunting. The hero of the X era was created by the villain of the classic era for the darkest reasons.
It's a heavy realization.
Now, before we bring this deep dive to a close, your source did explicitly mention that other major continuity.
Right, gotta circle back to the network timeline. Your source notes it as a distinct and separate branch of the Mega Man multiverse narrative.
Just to be clear again, this timeline diverges from the main robotic timeline right from the start.
Correct. Its technological focus is entirely different, centered on advancements in computer networking, internet tech, not physical robotics.
And this is where we find Battle Network.
In its own 21st century, yeah. Followed by Mega Man Star Force about 200 years later, with its focus shifting to EM wave technology.
Okay. Your source material focused very heavily and in great detail on the history of the classic and X eras within the main timeline, didn't it?
It really did. That's why our deep dive today concentrated there. There's clearly a whole other fascinating narrative to explore in the network timeline, but based on the emphasis in the source you provided.
The robotic continuity was the designated priority for this particular dive.
It was definitely where the most extensive chronological detail was presented in the document. Yeah.
Okay. So, to bring this incredible journey through centuries of robotic evolution and conflict to a close, let's try and summarize what we've uncovered. It's a lot.
It is. We started by tracing the very origins of modern robotics in the classic era, following that foundational rivalry between Dr. Light and Dr. Wily.
The birth of the original Mega Man, the intro of key allies like Proto-Man, Rush, and rivals like Bass.
We saw the relentless cyclical nature of the conflict, and crucially, that sometimes dark, sometimes hopeful lead up to the X era.
With Dr. Light's creation of the ethically complex X.
And Dr. Wily's creation of the powerful virus-carrying Zero, setting the stage.
Then we navigated the difficult transition into the X era. The discovery of X by Dr. Kane. The subsequent mass production of free-willed reploids based on his untested design.
Which led directly to the devastating emergence of the Maverick virus originating from Zero.
And the corruption of Sigma, who rises as the enduring viral villain, his influence persisting even after a physical defeat, just keeps coming back.
And we explored the subsequent conflicts, the X-Hunters, Doppler, the tragic Repliforce War, seeing how Zero confronts his dark origins and Wily's legacy continues to cast a long shadow, maybe even through figures like Surges.
It's clear that beneath the surface of what many might see as straightforward action games lies a remarkably deep and interconnected narrative world.
Oh, absolutely. This timeline reveals recurring themes about the ethics of technology and AI, the nature of free will, the societal cost when caution is ignored in the pursuit of progress,
And the sheer relentless persistence of conflict driven by ideological differences and personal vendettas that span centuries.
It's a saga of creation, betrayal, sacrifice, and the enduring impact of history, really.
Absolutely. And based only on the source material we delved into today, here are a couple of things to really mull over,
Okay.
Consider how Dr. Light's ultimate creation, X, was born from his desire for a better, more ethical future for robots and humanity, while Dr. Wily's ultimate creation, Zero, seems to have stemmed from his ambition for power and chaos, inherently linked to destruction via the virus.
Two sides of the same coin almost, their final legacies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Despite their creators' completely opposite philosophies and fates in the classic era, both X and Zero became the foundational elements of the next era's conflicts, profoundly shaping the future of the world for centuries.
That's a powerful thought. What else?
Or think about that detail from Mega Man 9 about robots having manipulated expiration dates.
The planned obsolescence.
What does that seemingly minor plot point suggest about the intended lifespan or eventual obsolescence of that entire generation of classic robots? And how might that hint connect to the necessity of a completely new generation, the reploids of the X era, rising to prominence a century later?
So does the timeline itself, with that huge gap in the new society, imply a form of technological death or phasing out for the classic era's machines? Because they were maybe designed not to last indefinitely.
Right. It's just a thought prompted by that detail in the source. These are the kinds of questions that emerge when you look beyond just the action and into the rich chronological tapestry your source material lays out.
Definitely gives you more to chew on.
So, if this deep dive has piqued your interest, definitely explore the games and sources yourself. There's even more depth waiting to be discovered.